So happy to chat today with Kristin Elliott and Sivan Cohen, two trailblazing female executives in STEM. In life sciences and water monitoring, women are few and far between, and these ladies have not only thrived, they're now leading well-established corporations with only male partners and in a male-dominated field. They've had to bridge generational gaps and bring their organizations into the new millennium, and they are now juggling all of that amid one of the most unprecedented periods in our lifetime. Ladies, thank you so much for chatting with me today. And we'll start with you, Sivan. Tell me a little bit about your business and where you're focused.
Sure. Glad to be here today. Thank you. My name is Sivan Cohen. I'm a civil engineer and a construction manager. And right now I'm working on building my second industrial technology company, which is called Noria Water Technologies. What we're doing at Noria is we are working to revolutionize the way that industrial processes are run using real-time monitoring and machine learning. And so we have a flagship product or flagship technology that we call the RO Spotlight, which is used for real-time monitoring of reverse osmosis and nanofiltration membrane-based desalination processes. And so what we're looking to accomplish by bringing this technology to market, we have a few customers here in Southern California, including the city of Santa Monica and Orange County Water District, is really to empower operators to be able to most optimally operate their RO plants by being able to physically see the membrane surface, which is the linchpin in that entire process. So that's what we're doing right now. We're pretty excited about it and really working on building the business.
That sounds amazing, Sivan. How about you, Kristin?
Thanks, Reema. So I'm the CEO of a company called Precision Measurement Engineering, and then I have a subsidiary called Aquasen. And at PME, we design and develop water quality sensors, and we sell to researchers and universities around the world looking at oxygen, temperature, and other water quality parameters in lakes and rivers, oceans, pretty much any natural fresh water or saltwater system on the planet, which is really fun. We get lots of cool applications and research information from our customers. And then Aquasen, we developed and designed a new monitoring buoy for aquaculture farmers, for inland farmers, and that's looking at real-time dissolved oxygen temperature in various ponds or tanks, and it has a solar power. It's completely standalone system that connects via the cloud and sends real-time data to the farmer for better management of their water quality. So we're super excited to be bringing that to the aquaculture industry actually over the next month or two.
Wonderful. So Kristin, can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you face as a CEO during this challenging time and how it's been magnified by the pandemic?
Yeah, well, on the Aquasen side, a challenge that we're facing is we launched the product in February, and then all the shutdowns happened in March. And so we have been struggling with trying to understand what the aquaculture industry is going through. And I know a lot of the farmers are continuing to support demand. There's still demand for food during this time. But some of the farmers have kind of frozen their budgets, or they're really conscious of what they're spending on this sort of water quality monitoring technology. So we had to kind of pivot in the way that we come to aquaculture farmers with pricing strategies and different options to be able to fit within their ever evolving budgets. Now on the PME side, we've been around for over 30 years, and we've always, as a team, been together in the office. And so within 2 days, we had to get everyone up and running at home and get them connected to the network. As a CEO, I had to try and understand, okay, now how do I manage remote employees? One of the ideas we had was having these early morning meetings. And so we have Zoom conferences every day, and we check in. I have them put all their tasks up online, and it's just a different method, a different way for them. And they're adapting and trying to understand, okay, what's expected of me. And I know that as a leader, I need to just kind of help them through this as well and ensure that they're, still passionate about the company and still understanding that we're not going anywhere. We're still here. We're just kind of approaching things a little bit differently these days. And we've had just a couple of guys in manufacturing, so we can still ship product. As a company, we've actually been buying them lunch every day, just to kind of something that they could look forward to. And it can be scary out there. And if you're online a lot, it can be kind of frightening reading those stories. And we just want to bring some joy and happiness and know that, hey, we're going to get through this. It's going to be a little bit different, but just take one day and each week at a time.
That's the one nice thing about this, is that we're all in this together and everybody's in the same boat. How about you, Sivan? What are some challenges you face as a CEO, and how have they been magnified by the pandemic?
I'm really inspired by Kristin's response, and she took some of the words, out of my mouth. Although now I need to be buying my partner's lunch every day, so I'll be in touch with them about that after this. But yeah, I think during this time in particular, it's interesting because as an entrepreneur, you're already thinking outside of the box, and then all of a sudden this pandemic comes up. And so you have to think outside of the box you're already thinking outside of. So there's a lot of pivoting that you need to do in order to adjust, and then figuring out, am I adjusting just for the short term or also for, the mid and long term? So in the short term, for example, we have both a hardware and a software solution. Our hardware is installed physically at our customers' RO plants in order to look at the membrane surface. And typically a new prospective customer would come to a plant to see us, to go on a site visit. And they're not able to do that due to logistical considerations and travel restrictions at this time. And so one of the things that we did was put together what I call a virtual site tour, where we went on the site and filmed basically an introduction or a site tour that I would give to a customer had they visited the plant. So we've been using that as a sales tool and sending that out to people, which has been really an excellent resource. And I'm glad that we did that, but that's something that we necessarily, wouldn't necessarily have done in regular time. So, that's one thing. And then the second, like I said before, is really understanding what are the impacts short term. Like Kristin said, some budgets are frozen. And so we're seeing some installations that may get pushed back by a few months up to a quarter. But in the mid to long term, just like food, water is still necessary. That's not going anywhere. It's an essential service, like it was dictated here in California by the California State Water Resources Control Board. And so on-site work staff is reduced, but mid to long term, everybody needs water. Water is required for all of the industrial and infrastructure and municipal purposes that we needed it for yesterday. We still need it for today and tomorrow. And so actually I've been reading quite a few market research reports by the leading agencies that are talking about water being even a better market to be in at this time because it is recession proof, and digital technologies like Noria's and like Aquasens and like PMEs are all going to be adopted at a greater than anticipated rate previously, because a lot of water agencies that have digital technologies in place are a lot more resilient during this time. So I think in mid and long-term planning, that's going to get adopted. And so it's important for leaders of the company, such as myself and Kristin, to translate that message to the people that are working with us, so that they don't have that fear and they understand that we're not going anywhere and that this is actually a great market to be in during this time. And it's just important to transmit that message.
That sounds amazing. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about any advice you would offer to other CEOs, and especially female CEOs at this point, who are wives, mothers, managing households, managing companies, managing employees, and kind of what some of your counsel would be to that.
Sure. Like you said before, everybody's in the same boat at this time, and where work-life balance was hard before. I think at the very beginning of this pandemic, we all thought, man, we're going to be at home and we're going to be bored and get all of this list, these lists of projects done that we've had on the shelf forever. none of that is true. If anything, I think across the board, we've seen that people tend to be even more busy, especially when there's not this kind of physical switch in terms of your location between work and home. And so I think it's just important that you schedule out your day, and that you really understand when you're going to be working and when you're going to be present in your home life, and then to stick to that, because otherwise one bleeds into the other and there's a lack of balance. And especially during times of stress like this, it's really important that, you know, that we have balance, that we maintain balance. And just like we're leaders in our companies, we're also leaders at home. And so we need to be demonstrating that at home as well.
How about you, Kristin? I know you have a full plate too, with 3 young kids and lots of stuff happening in your household. What do you say to other CEOs, and especially female CEOs?
Well, I love how Sivan mentioned just structuring your day, and that actually took me like a week or 2 to kind of settle into, and now I feel like I'm kind of in a routine. Like you mentioned, Reema, I have a 1-year-old and then a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, so I have to juggle when the 1-year-old's awake and when nap time happens, so I can do things like this. Just now my dog was barking in the backyard, and I was like, please don't switch over to me when he's barking, because then you're all going to hear him. But with homeschool, and oh gosh, I mean, my husband works at the company as well, so we're kind of juggling and balancing when we can each get some time in. And I think it's super crucial to just even be able to schedule out time for yourself. And every morning, for like 30 minutes, I just try and like center and focus, and I choose a word for the day, like clarity or focus or compassion or patience, and it seems to help a little bit. And like Sivan said too, just really looking at the top goals that I have and the tasks that I have, and trying to understand, okay, I can't do everything that I used to be able to do a couple months ago, but if I can just slowly work on something and get it done for that day. Things come up during this atmosphere. It seems like something's changing every single day. And so as a leader and as a CEO, you just have to be adaptable.
Uh-oh, did we lose Kristin?
You cut out around where you said as a CEO and as a leader.
Having poor internet connection as well is a challenge. Yeah, we're just taking it day by day and week by week and getting through this time.
That's amazing. Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your amazing insights. For all of us who are going through this, it's always nice and cathartic to hear other people are going through the same thing. And so there is a sense of community in that. So thank you, ladies, for your time.
Thank you.